Hey everyone! Welcome back to Strafe Zone and welcome back to my Dark Souls 2 walkthrough, let's play, guide, whatever you want to call it. I think I have a new name for it every episode. I'm losing track. A Dark Souls 2 playthrough, we'll go with that. I'm still in Majula, but today, with this episode, it's kind of going to be a long one, so hopefully you guys can stick through it. There's a lot of interesting stuff going to happen in this episode.
But first, let me set up.
But as you can see with Leningrad, we're back later. The magic of video editing, everyone. There's plenty of times in this episode that I'm going to, I don't know, skip ahead all the boring parts of Majula. It's just me really leveling up my character, leveling up my items, my equipment or whatever. I don't really know if you guys want to see that sort of stuff because it goes on for like 5 or 10 minutes and yeah, we've seen it all 100 times. This is also going to be one of the last videos that I do my post commentary for. I've been doing kind of a mixture of post commentary and live commentary in these videos. I think it's quite obvious which ones are which. So the last episode was quite obviously post commentary, and so is this one, but there's definitely a mixture, and pretty much from this video or the next video onwards I'm just going to do live commentary. I think it's way more interesting, it's way more exciting. So yeah, here we are back in the Cardinal Tower bonfire in the Forest of the Fallen Giants. I'm gonna do just the rest of this level. Gonna finish up getting all the items I can. Gonna meet a couple of interesting NPC characters, and I'm gonna take on a boss at the end of this one. So you guys are gonna see a boss fight finally. You can see that Haid Knight sword now that I've leveled it up. It's killer. So good. So good. The best thing about it is it can sort of do that sweeping first attack where it comes off of the ground and can hit these dudes when they're still on the ground. Love it. Love it. Still playing online, as you can see. There's comments everywhere, bloodstains everywhere. It's Fog Door. Every time we come through here, you're always at low level, and I don't know what it is about this part, but I find this part in particular probably the most difficult of the whole Forest of the Fallen Giants area. Just because there's like 4 archers that can hit you. There's this perilous little section here where you can just be pushed off, or if you're strafing on the strafe zone, as I hope you guys are. I do plenty of it in my playthrough. You can just fall off the side, fall down with low health. I've died in many different ways in this place. Straight down the ladder. Don't forget to take this guy out. You can push him into the water. Meh. Haid Knight sword plus 2 or 3. Does the job really quick. So yeah, the Forest of the Fallen Giants, as Melentia says that we found out from before, when you first meet Melentia, I guess before you advance her dialogue, she goes on to say that, I don't know if she was around when the war was going on or when the attacks were happening. This whole place used to be like a big castle or a big fort. It's now kind of overrun. It's got moss everywhere, grass everywhere. Funnily enough, the traps still work. There's my guy sliding down the bank again. Good old Havoc physics. Stuff still cracks me up when I see the enemies just falling all over the place. Before I get into the Forest of the Fallen Giants lore and explanation, this is Kael, everybody.
Like yourself. I'm navigating the continent to
Kael is a very cool character, in so much that
why cartography, you ask?
Every time you do something in the game, every time you progress or light a bonfire or kill a boss, he goes back. He lives back in Majula in the mansion. He actually watches over a big map on the floor, and I'm going to return to it in this video. I'll show you guys. It's got candles all over the floor, and it's really cool. Every time you come back here, it starts to glow with more candles on the floor to show where you've been. It's a nice little sort of, I don't know what significance or what symbolism it has, but it kind of just shows you your progress in the game.
Were you looking?
Coming back here right when you're about to finish the game, it's just got candles all over the floor where you've been. You've conquered the land, vanquished all the demons, vanquished all the undead. It's awesome. It's a really cool part of this game. If you progress his dialogue far enough, he gives you the key, which is the mansion key. That's going to allow me to get into that mansion back in Majula that was locked. But, he's losing his mind a little bit. He thinks he thinks he's a cartographer. I wouldn't doubt that he is, although he wears armor that's like infantry armor for his land. Don't know how he got it, whether he was a former soldier or whether he was whether he got it from a dead soldier. Who knows? But yeah, Forest of the Fallen Giants. So all the tree roots in this place, they're all sprouted up from giants that have obviously fallen. Surprisingly enough, funnily enough. They all fell and grown so ancient that now they've just turned into trees. And I think it's a little bit of foreshadowing on FromSoft's part. And they kind of give you a clue as to what the first boss is going to be. That's something that goes back to Demon Souls days, is that you notice when you're playing Boletarian Palace, you get to the end of the palace and you start seeing those little blob guys with the shield and the spike, the little phalanx or minis. Funnily enough, when we get to the first boss in Demon Souls, it is a giant phalanx with about 50 of them, so I guess the developers are hoping that you learn your lesson by fighting them the first couple of times. Here it's no different. This place really reminds me of Boletaria. It's like you have to battle your way the entire way through. If you're smart enough, you can open up a couple of shortcuts, a couple of little doors here and there, a couple of ladders. Really awesome. Early Pursuer boss fight reminds me of going after the Red Eyes Knight to unlock a shortcut in Boletarian Palace 1-1. You don't have to do it. It doesn't really have any bearing on your progression, at least early in the game. But it's just something that kind of elite players or experienced players are going to want to do. It's something I need to check off my checklist. I want to start a character, have him just wearing vanilla shit, vanilla gear. Here's the bonfire that we came from. Now you see that why I bought the firebomb. Always buy a firebomb. If you buy nothing else from Melentia, get a firebomb. If you pick up the fire longsword, that'll do the trick just as well. Anything with fire plus gunpowder barrels equals fun in my book, but it also equals explosion. So yeah, I'm not going to go back and rest because I don't want to respawn the enemies, of course. Now down here is a very interesting character and one of my favourite little side characters in this series. We'll see soon. I think anyone who's played Dark Souls 1, Demon Souls is going to realise who it's supposed to be. This is a really neat little room in here. Really cool little ambush setup. I think it's going to get a few people with those ballistas when you just run in here looking at, oh cool, there's like 4 souls on the ground, I'll have that. No, 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 no. No, you won't. You're going to take an arrow to the face, son. Now I got an upgrade. I think it's an upgrade. It's the same, it's the blue wooden shield. It's got the same defensive stats, but I don't think it has the same stability as the shield I've got at the moment, so I'm going to keep the iron shield on just for now. And for those that don't know, stability is your ability, stability is your ability, get it? To sort of deflect incoming attacks so your guard doesn't get broken. And you can see me watching the bloodstain, and you can see the guy getting killed straight up, so... See, that's one thing that can ruin your experience playing it online, is that there's going to be those bloodstains everywhere that's just going to take away that element of surprise. In a weird little way, I probably would have preferred to die there. I probably would have preferred to just open that trap and just let it kill me and then go, yep, okay, good game, well played, but, you know, didn't have to. You see me getting smacked the fuck up. That little door there, you need to hit it. You can't open it from this side, but the guards on the other side will oblige and open it for you if you're nice enough and just smack the door. Always handy. Found that one out by a message left on the ground by another player, so online system has its good and bad points. Now with the life ring. I believe, yeah, it raises maximum HP. It's not bad, it's the only ring I've got so far anyway, so we'll put that one on. Not much else to see here apart from that though. And those ballista, arrow, crossbow things, they can actually be activated by you. So always keep that in mind. It's pretty situational though. You won't really get much chance to use it. And here is our friend Mild-Mannered Pate. Mild-Mannered Pate, if you can't already tell,
hello there.
I think anyway that he's based
I hope
on
you have a very good reason.
Patches, the hyena from
hogwash.
Demon Souls and Dark Souls 1. I don't think he's so sinister in this one. He's a pretty cool guy. He tells you he's pretty honest with the trap. I mean, he's obviously not going in there because he knows what's going to happen.
There's treasure in there
but,
for certain. I saw the same
he at least tells you. He at least says to you, you know,
I was with this warrior.
I wouldn't go in there. He's going to lock from behind. There's treasure in there if you want it. But
I'll leave this one to you.
Yeah. And old Pate, if you talk to him there enough, he gives you the white sign stone. There we go again. A bit dyslexic. I try and be well spoken and interesting, but you know, my speech impediments. Well, I don't actually have a speech impediment. I just misspoke. The white sign soap stone will let us summon people to help us, and it's important because we can summon Pate to take on the first boss, which I'm going to do, because he's got a cool little storyline if you follow it all the way through, which I'm also going to do in this playthrough. These ironclad guys give me serious trouble. I think only recently I've sort of learned their attack pattern and learned how to sort of roll out of the way and learn what to do. Another little tip that I can share is that with rolling, it is tied to your adaptability stat, but always try and roll against the swing of the blade. Now, I could be wrong. I could get some really, really elite players on here, you know, yelling at me that I am wrong, but I don't think I am. I think the most effective way of rolling is to sort of roll against the grain, if you will. So if it's coming from left to right, just jump towards the left, so you jump over or under the blade. It's a really cool little piece of advice that you should take on. You'll take so few hits. Your natural reaction is to roll away, but it increases the amount of time that you're actually in contact with the blade. So don't forget that shit. Now that item over there is harder than it looks to get to. Now I don't know if I'm just saying that because I suck at jumping. I probably am. Take these guys out. I think it's just a crossbow. I don't really need it, but I like to get everything. I still feel bad about missing stuff, you know? He's got arguably the most useless weapon in the game, the Mail Breaker. Give you the Mail Breaker in every single game, and it's shit in all of them. They've never upgraded it, never make it do anything different. It's just a crappy little thrusting sword, little knife or whatever it is. Never use it. Never ever use it. I'm coming in the back way to the trap area. I just find it easier. Just run up on these guys and get the drop on them, as I'm doing here. It's a really cool little section though. I may or may not miss out a secret room here. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that. There is definitely a little room here to the side. If I don't get it, it's just around here. I think it's got the Sorcerer's Catalyst in it, so if you don't already have a Catalyst, which you probably won't unless you're a Sorcerer, yeah, you can pick one up there. You can cast a few spells early on in the game if you're not a Sorcerer, which is always nice. Always going to make sure you got the Intelligence, which you're probably not going to have unless you're a Sorcerer. So the moral of the story is be a Sorcerer. Aromatic Ooze, another cool little item. You can apply magic to your right hand weapon. Give you that extra damage modifier. These guys not too much trouble anymore now that I've upgraded my sword. Probably not as an intense battle as it was a couple of videos ago when I had the broken straight sword. There you see a nice little parry. I got to remember not to just jump in there and swing at these guys though. You can see that little contraption lock the door behind us, so I've got to run all the way back. It's the only thing that's bad about coming through the back way in this place. And look at our little friend sliding down the stairs once again. I gotta be careful here. I took a life gem, luckily. I'm watching this back thinking, I hope I don't die here. But here's Pate. Peter Serafinowicz, British actor that does the voice role of Pate.
Wow. I see. I hope that brave warrior didn't...
He's got a really cool voice for doing voice acting. I don't know if I recognise him from any other games or anything else. I normally am pretty good with voice actors. I can remember them from just about everything they do. Him? Not so sure. I think this could be his first video game foray. But once again, if I'm wrong about any of this stuff, please feel free to correct me. And also, guys, if you've got any tips for me with either my play or my commentary, or just anything I can do to improve this for you guys, because that's what I do this for, just let me know in the comments or send me an email, thestrafezone@gmail.com. I'd love to hear your feedback, to see how I'm going early on, so I can make the videos better for you with subsequent games, subsequent playthroughs, other videos. Really excited about making content for this channel. Just got Final Fantasy X and X-2 remastered today. I'm really excited about that. I haven't even cracked it open yet. And it's going to be the next thing I play. Don't know if I let's play it. It's a long ass video game. But that's probably just one for me. I sunk about way too many hundreds of hours to even talk about back in the day. But enough about Final Fantasy. That is not good. The Hayd Knight sword is at risk. I think I'm just going to go run back to the bonfire here. I don't want to be without my Hayd Knight sword. No way. And it got me thinking when I bought Final Fantasy, I thought, man, that's been like 14 years or something since it came out. I can't believe it's been 5 years since Demon's Souls came out. 5 fucking years. God, it feels like yesterday I was playing that for the first time. I mean, really, it still stands up today. Look what they've done in Dark Souls 2 with all the motion capture and sort of the updated graphics engine. Even the movements are just so much more fluid. There's no frame rate issues or anything like that. And I don't really remember any frame rate issues from Demon's Souls. I remember Dark Souls, obviously, and Blighttown and all those kind of places. The frame rate did suffer. It wasn't as... I didn't find it as bad as what other people were saying. But I have seen it being played through on other people's systems and on computer. And yeah, it does have those frame rate issues. But yeah, just going to come back, rest of the bonfire, and I'm going to go take a swing at our first boss, the Last Giant. Of course I'd be back, my love. I've got to get life gems off of you. Now that travelling merchant hat increases the item discovery. It's the reason I only bought that item only out of the armor set. The rest of it's all shit. The rest of it's all garbage. But traveling merchants hat's really good for when I'm farming stuff. It increases the item discovery, so it's really important in this one as well, more so than ever, because with limited respawns on these guys before you got to use a bonfire aesthetic to reset it, yeah, you really need all the item pickups you can. If something doesn't drop from an enemy and you've killed it 8 or 9 times, you know, it starts to get a bit hairy, it starts to get a bit tense. You really need that human effigy when you've died about 35 times on the same damn boss and you've used up all your effigies and you really need that summon. Go back and try and get a human effigy. It's not fun. So that hat really comes in handy. There's a couple of other items that increase it as well, so if you don't like the goofy little blue beret style with the monocle, there's a few other things we can use. Now we're back in Majula. Just really coming in here to do the mansion. Coming in here to take on the mansion with the key that Kale gave to us. A couple of little interesting things in here, I can't wait to show it to you. So we've got the big library, or the big study room, whatever. That massive book, I haven't analysed that enough yet. I don't think it's anything, I think it's just a giant book. But I did pick up a Pharos Lockstone. So I'm going to take that one back to the Forest of the Fallen Giants and open up a little doorway downstairs where we were, ballista room. You hear that noise downstairs? I wonder what it could be. This is the map room with the candles that I was referring to before. And it's a skeleton! Don't underestimate this skeleton, he can fuck you up. As you can see here with my playthrough. It contains a human effigy, and I think he has that. I think he respawns that, and I think you can use a bonfire aesthetic here. Not that you would, but you can use a bonfire aesthetic and farm one off of him. There's also an Estus flask shard outside, which is nice. And another really cool item is the Divine Blessing. Fully restores your HP. But there is something here. I didn't want to run out of here without showing it to you, so yes. Here we go. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the Lord Vessel. Well, I think it's the Lord Vessel. I'm fairly confident. My theory on the Lord Vessel. Yeah. Why is it here? One thing that I have, the conclusion that I keep coming back to is that King Vendrick crossed the seas. I think he stole this item. I'm pretty sure that NPCs in this game, at least, they sort of mention that King Vendrick went across and stole the Lord Vessel. I don't know. He went across and stole the Lord Vessel, brought it back. That sort of angered the giants, and that's why they came over here to attack him. Or whether it was brought over with Lord Gwyn, his followers and children, because I do remember Lord Gwyn left Dark Souls. Well, he didn't leave Dark Souls, but yeah, he got his ass handed to him in Dark Souls. He and his, well, at least his children, when he went to link the fires, his children left Anor Londo and left the land of the gods, Lordran. Maybe they came here. Maybe they came to Drangleic to settle. Don't know. I kind of lean towards the former, towards them bringing the Lord Vessel here. That's why it's in pieces, I think, as well. That's why you can warp straight away at the bonfires here, unless they've just learned how to harness that power, because the events of Dark Souls 1 are well and truly in the past. But, yeah, perhaps they shattered the Lord Vessel, scattered it amongst all the bonfires in Drangleic, and now everybody can use the power of teleportation. The world of tomorrow! Another shard for the Emerald Herald. It says it's used to strengthen the bonfire. I wonder if... I always have this vision of them just taping it to the side. So here you go. Here's another recharge. As you can see, I did level up. I leveled up my strength. And I'm going to try and use a few miracles in this playthrough. That's something I haven't really done much in Dark Souls 2 is looked at the miracles or anything, so I'm excited to do that as well. There's a lot of cool miracles in this game that I want to try out, some new ones that I've seen. Just going to use my little souls to get some money up. Get that money up, son. See if I can level up again. Ooh, I can. Maybe a couple of times. No, just once. Right, just doing my final preparations before we take on the boss. Shouldn't be too much longer here. The only thing about Faith is that I kind of advise, unless you are rolling a cleric, if you invest too many points in the into Faith too early, it doesn't really have any payoff because you can't use any really cool attacking spells or miracles as they are until you get a much higher Faith level, and you probably don't get access to them early in the game. So really all you've got is extra heal spells, which is always handy, but you're not going to be able to use it effectively against any bosses or anything until you start getting some lightning spears and that type of stuff. So yeah. So I'm coming this way just to see Pate, and also to use that lockstone that I picked up before. Very quickly though, not wasting any time. Now that I've leveled up the Haid side, blah 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 blah. Sorry about that, guys. The Haid Knight Sword. I can almost kill these guys in one shot. Not quite. I have this feeling I'm being followed. I can hear footsteps. I can hear you. Where are you? There he is. Oh. I can hear it now that I'm listening back to the game. I don't think I could hear it when I was originally doing this section. Silly me. So what's the Haid Knight Sword at +4 now? Just want to equip the short bow just to fire one shot into the... Well, no, I'm not going to do that. Confident. I don't think these are traps, or I don't think there's any mimics that can just one shot kill me this early in the game. From memory anyway. So what did I pick up? A Titanite slab, which is really good, but I did pick up something even better, which is the Chloranthy ring. That'll help me recover my stamina. Stamina is, in my opinion, the most important stat in this entire game. Forget strength, forget your HP, forget everything. If you've got no stamina, you can't do shit. You can't block, you can't swing, you can't do anything, son. Always make sure you let your shield down when something is not attacking you. That was the biggest thing I had to teach my girlfriend how to do when she was playing this, is that she was always scared of everything when she first started. She's really good now, but she was scared of, you know, everything, as everyone is in Dark Souls. Running around with the shield up 100% of the time. And was wondering why. She's like, my shield was up. And I'm like, baby, you've got no stamina. You need stamina. Alrighty. So here it comes. Just taking this elevator down here. Now that I've opened up that shortcut back there, we can get here at any time we want. Can't go in that door until a little bit later in the game. And here is the summon sign for our buddy, Mild-Mannered Pate. Try your best to keep him alive. He will sometimes, depending on what happens with this fight, sometimes he gets stomped on. Like, he just gets fucking mudhole stomped in his face. Some days you just can't do anything about it. Some days he'll be really good and kind of avoid the attacks. Some days he just is shit. You can use a Homeward Bone if you think the fight's not going as well as you'd like it to, and it'll take you back to the bonfire and you can restart this fight again, and Pate will still be there. That's a little tip I learnt much later in the game. I wish I had known that earlier on. I didn't realise you could use Homeward Bones in boss fights. I never tried it before in all my Souls experience. But here's the giant. So look at him. He's in stone. He's got all these weapons in him. They're embedded in his back. It looks like a piece of concrete just shoved into his back. The poor guy. And Mr. Arsehole Face is not happy with us. Time to put him in. So this fight's... it's an introductory fight at the end of the day. It's probably most people's first boss. I don't think it takes too much to figure out that you gotta target his legs. You can't target, really, if you're a melee character, you can't target his back or his head. Just target his legs, just stay between the legs, keep hitting that opening. That's what she said. And, yeah, just go right for those ankles. You can see that Hate Knight Sword's just wrecking his shit. Just lighting his world up. I didn't do it perfectly though, I did get hit there. This is the part you gotta worry about, when he just gets so irate, he rips his own arm off. So cool. Tears his own arm off to reach you better. All the better to reach you with. There's Pate just getting stomped on. I think we're going to finish him off before Pate dies, which is nice. That'll continue his story, means he'll move on to the next area. And I'll let you know now, if you can keep him alive, he'll give you a couple of little presents the next time you meet him, which is really cool. Which is why I don't mind Pate. He's honest. He gives me stuff. He looks out for me. What more could you want? No, Pate, get out of there. We did it. High five, buddy. High five. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this part. We beat the last giant. I am going to take a break. That was a big episode. Thanks very much for staying with me if you did the whole way through. And I'll catch you all in the next part, which is part 5. Thanks for watching the Strafe Zone. Please subscribe, please comment, and I'll see you all in the next part. Bye for now.